Hey, greetings everybody, how are you? I am here to make an analogy between modes and pizza. You will understand more shortly here, but let's get something out in the open here regarding modes. Clearly, there's always been a lot of confusion about, I'll just talk about guitar players really, because frankly that's probably who's watching this video. There's always been a lot of confusion about modes and what they are. Lots of misunderstandings, lots of things taught very not well over the years in a number of resources. This has led to confusion, and I'm going to be making a series of videos about this to help break down this confusion. Have others done this before? Yes, but I actually do feel that I have a very good way of explaining this where I can probably help many others with it as well. So that is what we're going to do today. Okay, let's say that you have a plain cheese pizza. That means you've got crust, you've got red sauce, and you have cheese, probably mozzarella. Okay, those three ingredients are pretty crucial. You know, cheese pizza is kind of the foundation of every other pizza. You know, you can add veggies, you can add sausage, pepperoni, all kinds of stuff, but they all do have in common the cheese, the crust, and the red sauce. Okay, so if you've got a plain cheese pizza, you could add an ingredient and you could add another ingredient, right? That's what we will be talking about today. Cheese pizza, then we'll talk about turning that into a pepperoni pizza, into a sausage pizza, and a pepperoni sausage pizza. All right, let's go ahead and dig in some more, shall we? Today is your lucky day. The only chord we're going to be talking about is C major. C, E, and G. Put them together, boom, you have a C major chord. I will not be teaching you how to play a C major chord, by the way. I expect you to already know this. Okay, so C major is a major chord. In major key signatures, just, you know, the main key signatures, C, G, D, all that kind of stuff. There are 7 chords in each key. There's the 1 chord, which is major, the 2 and 3, which are minor, the 4 and 5, which are major, the 6 chord, which is minor, and the 7 chord, which is diminished. I'm not going to get too into detail on all those today. Some of this I kind of already expect you to know in certain levels, but keep on watching and this will still help make sense to you nonetheless. As I just said, there are 3 major chords. They fall on the 1, the 4, and the 5 of any key signature, right? Okay, so if we take a C major chord, that means that there is a key out there in which it falls on the 1, there's another key where it falls on the 4, and there's another key where it falls on the 5. Let's work this out. Here's one of the easiest questions you'll ever get from me. In which key signature do you have the a C major chord as the 1 chord? Who was buried in Grant's tomb? All right, the answer is the key of C, also known as the key of no sharps, no flats. The 1 chord is C, so it goes C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished. Okay, so that is the key of C, and the 1 chord is, of course, C. Okay, what key signature has the C chord as the 4 chord? The answer is the key of G, also known as the key of 1 sharp, because the chords are G, A minor, B minor, C is the 4, and there's more chords after. I'm not even going to get into that today. Okay, so now we have another key. Which key has the C major as the 5 chord? The answer is F. C is the 5 chord in the key of F. You have F major, then you have G minor, A minor, B flat major is the 4, and the 5 chord is C major. So in a quick summary, C major appears in 3 different major keys. It's the 1 of C, it's the 4 of G, and it's the 5 of F. So we can quickly realize that one thing that all 3 of those keys have in common is a C major is contained within. That means also, if you look at the notes of a C major chord, it's C, E, and G. All 3 notes appear in all 3 keys. Okay, there's something else that they all have in common. And the answer to that is, I will just get right to it, is they all share the same pentatonic scale. C major pentatonic, that is. So, in each key, you have a C note. In each key, you have a D. Each key has an E. Each key has a G. And each key has an A. And you probably already know this pattern and scale. This is just coming right out of your pentatonic scale that you know. I will quickly point out, a lot of you are probably calling that, oh, that's A minor pentatonic. You are right that that is an A minor pentatonic if an A minor chord is being played. I'm trying to break this down in simple hard lefts and hard rights, I guess, maybe what I'm trying to say. The difference, let's put it this way. The difference between an A minor pentatonic scale and a C major pentatonic scale is one is played over an A minor and the other is played over a C major. That's kind of the confusion people often have with a 6 chord, like a C6 versus an A minor 7. Context is which chord is being played. Okay, so let's keep moving on. So if all 3 different keys share these 5 notes, let's say you have a C major chord playing and all you do is play C major pentatonic. Well, guess what? It's probably going to sound great, but you have not defined any mode, and you don't have to. But let's just say you had to. How do we do that? Well, you've got 2 more notes that you're missing from any major scale. Penta, of course, means 5. So you've already covered the 1, the root, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 6th. Notice we skipped the 4 and the 7. So we have skipped any kind of F and any kind of B. So let's talk more about that. Before I do that real quick, here's a quick little demo of just C major pentatonic. I made a little backing track here. It's very simple. Alright, I wasn't even really playing, that was just me playing a scale. That scale was C major pentatonic. And there was a C major chord being strummed in the background by me. I recorded that earlier. So I have not defined any mode. This is kind of a genderless, so to speak, a genderless little, playing over it is by just playing C major pentatonic. I have not defined a mode. We don't know right now if, again, in this world, all that exists is a C major chord. And I'm playing the pentatonic scale. We do not know if this is Ionian, Lydian, or Mixolydian yet. And again, it could sound great. So let's talk about what those crazy fancy words mean next. Okay, if I take that pentatonic scale and I decide I want to treat this C major chord as if it's coming from the key of C. Okay, well, as we already know, we got 5 out of 7 notes already down, the pentatonic scale. So if I add what are the 2 missing notes to turn this into a C major scale? The answer is F and B, the tritone. So if I add that, I have now got C major. Because we're playing this over C major chord and treating it as the 1 chord in the key of C, C is the 1 chord. We are playing the Ionian mode. So basically, C Ionian definition is a C major chord is being played, and the notes you are playing are C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So that is what an Ionian mode is. Everything matters. The context, the chord has to be played. Just playing a pattern like this, that's something a lot of people think means that if they just play this alone, it means it's Ionian, no matter what chord is being played. I certainly probably thought that at one time, but we will not talk about that. So, now if what I just played here was played over a C major chord, yes, that is playing the C Ionian mode. One quick thing I want to say before I forget. it does not matter when, when you're jamming, somebody's playing a C chord in this case, and you start, soloing, improvising. It does not matter if you start on a C note. It never matters what the first note is. That does not have anything to do with defining the mode you're playing. It's the overall collective of notes you're playing. Instead of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, I could have just said B, C, D, E, F, G, A, back to B. That would also be Ionian because, again, we're playing over a C major chord. And it's also very helpful to know that, like on a C major chord, know your triad notes, your arpeggio notes. It's C, D, and G. Those are your targets that you really want to hit on. So, like, check this out. Let's just do this here. Okay, I was purposely targeting C, E, and G as safe notes to land on. If all we did was play C, E, and G, that would probably be pretty boring after a bit. So I needed to point that out to you. That cannot be overlooked. So that was the C Ionian mode we just talked about. Treating the C chord as if it's the one chord, which means key of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, so what's Lydian mean? Lydian simply means that in the case of C, what does C Lydian mean? It means we're taking that C chord and we're treating it as if it's the 4 chord in the key of G. So we're still playing a C chord, but that means that instead of an F note, we've got F sharp now. Because remember, the parent it's coming from is the key of G. What's easier than calling it key of G, honestly, or C Lydian or G Ionian, any of this stuff? It's a lot easier if you just call it the key of 1 sharp, and then you talk about each chord separately. That right there, I should make a whole thing on just that. In a sense, this modal confusion could be a lot less if people would stop calling it key of G and start calling it key of 1 sharp. I totally get it, don't get me wrong, and you do want to know if someone says key of G, that is what most people are going to mean. But as far as really understanding where it's coming from, if you realize there's actually 7 modes within each key. And things are changing a bit now. I mean, people are writing more stuff, and have been for some time, where G is not always just the center of the universe, in the case of key of G. You can write stuff around other chords. And so let's talk about this. So C Lydian is, and again, you don't have to start on a C note, but we're going to here. C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and back to C. Okay, it's got a very dreamy sound. I'm going to play just a little bit of it right now. Here we go. Okay, all I did there is really I just changed my F to F sharp. And I still realize, hey, target notes, C, E, G. When you add that F sharp note, man, does it sound dreamy. Now, what I just played right there would not sound dreamy if I changed the chord. Remember, we're treating this all as if it's over a C. If I were playing that over an A minor chord, we would have what's called Dorian. Still the same notes, but we're treating it as the 2 chord. Okay, so right now that's enough of Lydian. Let's move on. All right, we've covered C Ionian, C Lydian. There is one more key where C major falls in. The answer is in the key of F. The key. Oh, I played another chord besides C. I apologize. C is the 5 chord in the key of F. So what that means is we just take our good old pentatonic scale. Okay, so that's already 5 of 7 notes, isn't it? If you add an F note and now a B flat note, assuming you're playing this over a C major chord, you are playing C Mixolydian. It's the 5th mode of the major scale. So Yeah, see, a lot of people are going to take this pattern, well, people who don't maybe understand. Just playing this pattern does not make it Mixolydian. That's half of it. The other half is it needs to be over a C major chord. Okay, so yeah, if you play this over an A minor chord, I'm not going to do it. I swore I was going to play no other chords. Anyway, if I played that over an A minor chord, we would have what's called Phrygian. Very different sound. It sounds very kind of threatening, to be honest. Whereas C Mixolydian, as it's a major mode, sounds like a happy blues. Let's go ahead and do that. And keep in mind, by the way, that B flat note, that has everything to do with the Mixolydian sound. It's called a flat 7, and that's what makes a C turn into a C7. All right, so let's go ahead and play this a bit and see how it sounds. Yeah, that sounds pretty country, doesn't it? Works great on country. You know, if you've got a, like, especially like a country blues kind of thing. And any blues. I mean, if you're playing Mustang Sally, that is awesome. Awesome chord, I'm sorry, an awesome scale to choose from. Most people are just going to play out of, you know, a C blues. And that is great too. But if you want to, you know, have a different sound, next time you play Mustang Sally, play Mixolydian on the C chord. And then when you get to the F chord, just do that same shape up at the 10th fret, which I'm not going to do because I already swore certain things at the beginning, how I'm going to not get sidetracked and play other keys and chords. Okay, so that is C Mixolydian. All right, we're going to talk a bit about the pizza thing now. So a plain cheese pizza just has crust, red sauce, and cheese. That is a C major chord with the pentatonic scale in this case. That pentatonic scale, those 5 notes, I don't know, consider that the components of the cheese pizza. It's cheese, red sauce, crust. What is a pepperoni pizza? It's really just a cheese pizza with pepperoni added, right? So that's adding one ingredient. So let's just call it the 4th right now. So right now we're going to be, you know, going back to our pentatonic scale. Okay, let's add that 4th, the F note. Look at this. Okay, we have not played any kind of a B on purpose. Okay, with that one ingredient added, we have got, in this case, we can say that it's either we're treating the C chord as the 1 chord, which would be Ionian, or we're treating it as Mixolydian, which is it's the 5 chord in the key of F. We can say that because F is found both in C Ionian and C Mixolydian. Now, if we turn that F into an F sharp, then, and yes, I am keeping the 7th out. I'm not talking about that yet. So, if we turn that F into an F sharp, we can process of elimination-wise say that that is coming from Lydian. Okay, so I hope that kind of makes sense. F is found in both, there we go. F is found in both C Ionian and C Mixolydian. F sharp is found in neither. F sharp is only found in C Lydian. Okay, so let's move on. All right, so that's one way of adding an ingredient, right? What if we kind of skipped any kind of an F note? No F sharp. We'll keep it the pentatonic. And we decide to add some kind of a B note. All right, so let's add just a B natural. Very Eric Johnson scale choice kind of thing going on there. So that B note is found in which 2 modes? Well, it's found in C Ionian. So again, if someone's playing a C chord and you decide, hey, I'm going to treat that as the 1 chord of C, then you are 6/7 of the way there. Okay, if you decide to, oh, by the way, that B is also found in C Lydian, isn't it? yeah, I'm leaving out the F sharp right now. Which is, F sharp is actually the most crucial note of Lydian. It really is, of C Lydian. But for right now, my point is that we can certainly deduce that by having a B note included here, it comes out of C Ionian or C Lydian. But it most certainly cannot be Mixolydian because Mixolydian has a B flat. You might need to watch this video a few times and, you know, feel free to pause and rewind. One little thing I want you to kind of work on is, you know, just find a C major backing track. I'll try and put one in the description. Get to feel what it sounds like and make sure it's only a C major chord. Get to know what each mode sounds like. Just play the scale. Don't shred it. Do not play it super fast. Because, you know, you want to actually know what each note tastes like. Somebody gave you a good dessert or something. I mean, the goal is not just to, you know, chomp it all down in 2 seconds. You want to savor it and know what, you know, every bit of fudge or whipped cream tastes like in your sundae. Don't just gobble it up like a goon. So where was I? Oh yeah, so get a C major chord happening. Play around on each one, get the feel for this straight up Ionian sound. Change that so you can understand the context. Change that F to an F sharp. Play just Lydian. Get to really know what each note sounds like. You know, when you got that C playing, man, does that F sharp add a lot of drama. It's a drama queen. And then, of course, you know, treat that C chord as if it's the 5 chord of F. And that means C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat. That's your money note in C. At first, you're probably going to be like, that sounds weird. But you know what? Probably the more you just heard it there, you realized I've heard that sound before, and it will start to become useful. So make that a thing you do. Take each of those 3 shapes and realize the chord is what matters. Just as much as those notes do, I should say. The chord helps determine the mode just as much as the notes you're playing over that chord. So a little review on the pizza analogy. Again, pentatonic scale. Cheese pizza. Added 1 topping, call that your 4th maybe. Okay, so we added an F note. We took a pentatonic scale and added an F in this case. We know that we're going to call that pepperoni pizza. You can still make cool stuff with that. You don't need to play all 7 notes. You don't need to just play pentatonic. You can do whatever the hell you want. Okay. Okay, so we've added an ingredient. Let's say we don't add the pepperoni, we just add sausage. Sausage, of course, is now the 7th. I guess we're making it, aren't we? So we've got pentatonic plus a B note in this case. And that is like almost Ionian, because we're leaving out the F note, of course, which is very important in defining it. Okay. And if you add all of it, you've got, I guess, a pepperoni sausage pizza. That gives you all 7 notes. That would be Ionian pepperoni sausage. This would be Lydian pepperoni sausage. And this would be Mixolydian pepperoni sausage. Okay, I'm hoping that that pizza thing is kind of helping make sense. All right, another aspect of modes, everything to do with this pizza stuff. This is a great place for this analogy. Okay, let's say that you are jamming and your band, you guys are doing nothing but playing a C major chord. and maybe some people come in, somebody comes in and wants to hear you guys play. And let's say that you are playing C Lydian, okay? So you're playing C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. Okay, so they walk in the room and they hear, you know, I'm going to set the palette for you. Okay, they're hearing that kind of mode, mode, actually. That's not an accident, I said that. They're getting that kind of vibe. Now, if you just played pentatonic, you're not going to have that dreamy sound anymore. So here's the thing, that F sharp note, like I said, is so important. It only lasts for so long. Let's say that you jammed around for a bit and you're using, yeah, that F sharp note. Okay, right now I'm going to not play F sharp. Okay, it starts to wear off after a while. Let's say that someone walked in the room while you're playing the Lydian mode, so that F sharp note is happening, and they came back in later and they never heard you play the F sharp note. It's no longer in the air. No, you're still going to play cool stuff, but just realize you're kind of, in a sense, not really playing. You're not putting the ingredients forth that would make it sound Lydian. What does this have to do with pizza? Here you go. Let's say you've got your pepperoni sausage pizza. Somewhere on that pizza, there's a little area where there's no cheese, where there's no pepperoni or sausage. You take a bite into it. Technically, that bite was just cheese, a cheese pizza bite. You did not, by definition, have a bite of pepperoni sausage. So nobody would actually care if they saw you eating it and pointed out to you, oh, dude, you only had a slice of, you only had a bite of cheese pizza there. So that would be weird, right? Okay, so the point of this is, and why I'm bringing this up, is, you know, use, okay, you've got 7 notes here. Do what you want. But just realize, if you want a Lydian flair, you've got to play that F sharp note. It only lasts for so long. I don't know the amount of time, really. I don't know. Is it 10 seconds, 20 seconds, before it kind of starts to fade away. So, you know, at the end of the day, you don't even have to go modal on anything, really. I mean, that's just there if you want to. It's another option. Somebody's playing a C. You could just play pentatonic. Check this out. I'll just do it without the backing track. I'm going to play just pentatonic for a bit, and then I'm going to go Lydian, add that flair, and you'll see a difference. I'm sure by now you hear that Lydian note. Okay, what if I kind of refrain from playing F sharp for a bit? Okay, now that flair is kind of gone. In the same way, if you were eating the pizza and you started just kind of eating around the pepperoni and sausage, you were really just going to taste cheese pizza. If you had another bite of the sausage and pepperoni, yeah, your palate is going to feel like it's having pepperoni sausage pizza. That only lasts for so long. So I wanted to make that clear because some notes are not even crucial. Again, the pentatonic notes, none of those define the mode collectively. You've got to have an F of some kind and a B of some kind. And which, by what kind, depends on which mode you're going for. Okay, I think that I explained that pretty well. If I did, please praise me and tell me how amazing it was. If you hated it and didn't like it, tell me in the comments and I'll try to make another video. Maybe I didn't explain something well. I don't know. All right, so that is my first modes video, and I plan on making more. So thank you. Bye-bye.